Gabriel Carvalho of Airborne Trampoline KW is finding his own way to attain new heights in the sport of trampolining.
The competitive sport of trampoline has rapidly developed in Canada, since being included in the Olympics since the year 2000.
There's nothing quite like being on a trampoline. You get tossed up in the air and you get to feel like you're flying. So the sport originated around 1930 when a guy named George Nissen saw like trapeze artists when they landed in the net, they kept bouncing up and down, and he wanted to create something that specifically just did that.
Former gymnast Gabriel Carvalho plans on participating in the provincial and national trampoline championships this spring.
He is a natural. He just picks it up really fast. He doesn't have any fear. He's willing to try a lot of stuff. So that's the best thing that's going for him, and his work ethic is superb. He's a great athlete.
Gabriel's natural talent sets a positive example to his teammates, making him one of the club's biggest role models.
Even with athletes his age, he is a good mentor and a good friend. And he teaches them whatever he knows, and they teach him what they know. And he even throws in the mat for some of the new skills that they're learning. And with the younger athletes, they all look up to him. So they all see him as sort of like someone they want to be like.
Since opening their doors in 2011, Coach Chris Martin has high hopes for athletes like Gabriel in pursuit of national success.
Trampoline, now that it's an Olympic sport, is one of the most fun Olympic sports out there, and a lot of kids want to do it. Gabriel is just a natural at it, and I love working with him because he's a great hard worker, and we make a great team here.
For the home team, I'm Ainsley McPhail.
Back here in studio now with Gabriel Carvalho, and do you have any nicknames or anything like Hops or Leaps or something like that? It's just
no, just go
just
by
Gabriel,
Gabe.
I guess, right? I only ask because you're looked upon as a leader, it sounds like there, but you're relatively new to the sport. You were saying just before we came on air, just a couple of years into it. How is it that you've already taken such a leadership role there at the club?
Yeah, so I've been doing this for about 3 years now. Before that, I was a gymnast recreationally.
Okay.
So I was just kind of having fun in gymnastics, and I wanted to take a little bit of a next step. I found out that I'm a little bit of a natural when it comes to knowing where I am in the air, spatial awareness, and that kind of thing. And so the transition to trampoline was, it almost helped a little bit.
With a background in gymnastics?
With the background in gymnastics.
So what makes a good trampoline athlete, in your opinion, even if you come in without the background that you had?
So obviously you need to have the physique for it. Although it's a lot of in your head.
Just kind of getting over your fears a little bit?
Yeah, getting over the fear, getting to know all the technicalities, where your head should be, where your hand should be, pointing your toes.
A lot of attention to detail, it sounds
There's a lot of fine details that matter.
So I'm looking at some B-roll here of, as we call it in the industry, and we see some uses of harnesses too. Is that helping some of the newer trampoline athletes, or is it part of developing a routine, if you will?
So we usually use the harness when we're learning a new skill that we're not really comfortable on the tramp with yet.
Okay.
So what we usually do is we start to work up some progressions, and we kind of get the feel for it. And then we might go into the belt where we can try it out without that fear of falling or landing awkwardly.
Okay.
And it really helps.
So your coach, I just saw there, you're getting some good height on it, and then he just throws a mat on the trampoline. That's just another way to stop you, I guess? Or
Yes.
or a quicker way to stop you?
Yeah, so that's in case I mess up the skill. Because, I mean, obviously there's still a lot of danger in that if I do fall off, then there's a lot of bad things that can happen.
Sure, as we see on those YouTube videos, I guess, right?
As opposed to that as well, trampoline as a sport is very safe statistically, just because you do progress very slowly. You get to know the basics first, and you get to know them really well.
Yeah.
And then you start to learn new skills very slowly, and you get to master them before you move on to the next
So they really
one.
ease you into and let you find your comfort zone, right?
Yeah. So to get to the point where I am right now, I just started doing simple jumps, just up and down, maybe a few single front flips.
Sure.
Then after a couple years, I progressed to the double front flips. and now I'm just starting to get into maybe a few triples.
Well, is Airborne Trampoline a unique facility? Are there many like it around southwestern Ontario here that you're aware of?
There have been a lot of trampoline clubs popping up
Yep.
in recent years. I really love Airborne. It's a really nice club. The coaches are so nice, and they've been supporting me throughout.
So what kind of background do the
career.
coaches have? Is there competitive background with them, or just something that they were rec jumpers themselves and kind of just progressed in the sport?
So a lot of the coaching is passing on knowledge and what you've learned. There is a professional process that they go through to be able to
Certification
coach.
and whatnot,
Yes.
yeah.
Although, yeah, athletes grow and they can teach the coaches, and
Sure.
the coaches can teach the athletes what they have already experienced in the sport.
Well, speaking about growing, it's grown exponentially in terms of even its popularity, and we've seen it now recently in the last couple of years become an Olympic sport. Why is it, do you think, that trampolining became an Olympic sport?
Well, I think that it's so appealing as a sport. It's so fun. Anyone can just hop on a trampoline and try out what they're seeing. Maybe not at quite the caliber of the Olympics, but it's almost tantalizing in a way that, hey, maybe I can do that.
So what kind of, and speaking of doing that, what is it that you like to do the most when you're out there jumping? What is maybe your favorite trick or move?
Well, my favorite trick has always just been the standard front flip. When I had the background in just recreational gymnastics, I kind of got the feel for it, and then I kind of hit the ceiling for the rec classes. So I was just doing that over and over again.
Okay. And the most difficult one for you? What are you still trying to master?
One that I'm trying to get right now is, it's called a triffus. So
Sounds
it's,
difficult even.
yes. So it's a 3/4, no, it's,
Like a spin, would you say, or?
yeah, it's 3 front flips with a half twist.
Wow, okay. So no wonder
it's-
that's a difficult one you're still trying to master.
Yeah. I'm easing into it with 2 flips and then
Okay.
3/4.
Yeah,
And then I'm going to start working on progressions in the belt, like we mentioned earlier.
sure.
And then eventually I'll progress to the mat and then keep going like that.
So very briefly, just a couple seconds left, unfortunately, but what's the feeling you have when you're on the trampoline mat?
It's so close to flying.
I like that. I like that a lot.
It's wonderful.
Well, hopefully you fly into a lot more success, Gabriel. Thanks so much for being here and
Thanks for having
talking
me.
everything about the sport. It's been great to learn about. That's Gabriel Carvalho of Airborne Trampoline KW. We'll be back with more right here on the home team right after the break.